Now, one of these whistleblowers who made a huge splash in the deep end of the conspiracy pool was Donald Marshall. On December 2nd, 2011, Donald made his initial disclosure in a lengthy Facebook post that went ridiculously viral. For the uninitiated, I want to read some of the highlights to you. He says, "This is no hoax, this is no joke. My name is Donald Marshall. I have been cloned by a large secretive cult known as the Freemasons and the Vril Society and Scientologists, together called the Illuminati. They make replicated bodies of people to victimize in terrible ways. They clone children for men with underdeveloped penises to have sex with. Some very famous and politically powerful people all getting together for a disgusting time. Most of the G20 gather there to discuss worldly matters and watch gruesome things done to innocent people for sport. I have seen this firsthand and will tell all, as it must be stopped. The political people started bringing movie stars and musicians there to hang around with them. They can control who remembers the cloning facilities and who will remain oblivious, even though not remembering still damages you. I know who's involved, the ringleaders and everything they do. It's basically a torture and child molesting factory. I was one of those children, but when I was young, to keep perverts off of me, I started singing songs, original songs, very good ones. They told me to keep making these songs and I wouldn't get hurt, and so I did. Then they started bringing me there every day for songs as the celebrities wanted more. They called me the goose that laid the golden egg, the phenomenon, but I ran out of ideas. Then the torture began. Now to tell you about the ringleaders, as unbelievable as it may seem, but you must believe me, this is a world emergency. The royal family of England. Yes, Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, and Prince Charles are the worst of them. Unbelievably depraved perverts, all showing off for the celebrities that go there. CSIS, Canadian intelligence, are involved as well, including a lot of commissionaries and Prime Minister Stephen Harper himself. They do what Elizabeth says. Seem to follow her every word without question. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a cute child or a child with a money-making ability like song-making, they will clone your child and molest them. It's a pedophile's paradise, and it must be stopped. Elizabeth secretly owns a few music companies, Universal and others, with bands under contract. She forces me, while under the knife, to compose for them. If I can't, she will stab my clone, burn me, and have her pervert thugs smash my body there. It's causing me some kind of heart damage and severe, debilitating headaches. One good person there, Bernie Mac, comedian and actor, tried to stand up and speak up for me, saying it's not right to do this to a human being. He tried to have others join him in speaking out against the clone torture zone while there. Elizabeth and Philip had him tortured so badly there as an example of their power, he had an aneurysm the next day and died. No one will speak up now. They're all very afraid of suffering the same fate. I need decent people with integrity to speak to about this filthy business, to tell who's involved. There's much more to tell, and I'm a wealth of information about the topic. Also, Elizabeth had Princess Diana killed by having someone shine the brightest light known to mankind through the window side of the car. They swerved away from it and hit the divider. It was no paparazzi. Diana survived, though, and while either on the way to or in the hospital, was injected with a high concentration of salt, which is near undetectable, and died. She did this because Diana was going to marry an Arab. Diana hated them, knew all about the cloning stuff, and wanted nothing to do with it, but was afraid of being killed, so she said nothing. I know this and many other things that I'd be happy to tell. I beg you reading this to help me. I swear this to be true with my right hand to God. They stupidly put my face on the Megadeth album, The World Needs a Hero, when I was 23, thinking nothing would ever come of it. Google image search it. I still look the same. It shows what I end up looking like after a clone gathering. I must add, they clone people from all walks of life there and chain them down to stainless steel corpse tables or drug them so they can't move. Send people into the room dressed as aliens in Hollywood-quality makeup to make them think they're having an alien abduction. They even dye chicken skins gray and stretch them over a mask for realism, as they perform medical experiments on people, cutting them up, probing them, and raping their limp bodies. These victims wake up and think they've been abducted by aliens but don't know where to turn and are embarrassed. The victims even sometimes try to videotape themselves while they sleep to prove they've been taken. To no avail. They're not taken. They've been cloned by the most disgusting perverts in the world. The scum even videotape these abductions to watch later as sick, demented porn. This happens more often than you can imagine. They just keep doing it to random people over and over. I'll be tortured there badly for sending you this. I might die for blanketing the world with this message. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's simply what's happening. What you're looking at right now is the most important document that's ever been put on the internet. Do nothing and allow them to continue to clone your children and sisters and wives and sons, causing them to have learning disabilities, unexplained depression and suicidal thoughts, and all kinds of other side effects. The importance of this is so heavy, people. It's the most terrible thing in the world, and this is your only chance to do something about it. Don't be afraid. Help me help myself and others. I sincerely beg you, Donald Marshall. Donald, my man, welcome to THC.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, I'm psyched for this, man. Thanks for doing it. I've tried to give people some of the cliff notes to the story there because I don't want to just rehash the previous interviews you've done, but I'm sure this is new to the majority of the people listening. So to get us started, can you elaborate on some of the main aspects of what you've been disclosing since that original letter? Anything I forgot to mention?
Well, your intro really was good. I don't know what to say now. You ruined my entire spiel.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, that Vinnie Eastwood interview pretty much detailed most of it well, so I don't want to just do another rehash, right? But
Of course.
let's see, the finer points. REM cloning, when you go to sleep, you get zapped. When you enter REM sleep, you get transferred your consciousness into a clone. You don't have dreams anymore. Britney Spears, none of them have dreams anymore. They just have clone time when they walk around and talk a little bit dumber than they normally would be. It's all very clear. It's not like a dream. It's very clear. You slap yourself in the face, you won't wake up, though. I don't know, they just got really more and more depraved over the years. I've been there since I was 5 years old. Was memory repressed until I was about 30. And then I remembered, and it was like Matrix when it floods all back to you. But, yeah, so there's that, the REM cloning. Another aspect. Well, I thought there was only a few kinds of aliens. There's way more.
Wow.
Like, I thought there was only 3 kinds of these vrills. But vrills are only one thing. And they are reptilian, lizard type. But there's other kinds that aren't lizards. I didn't even know.
As far as your personal story goes, how did you get mixed up in this? Like, where were your parents?
Well, let's see. Little did I know. Well, my dad wasn't there, but my mother was. But I didn't see her in the beginning. I was 5 years old, brought there, and they were going to use me for what they call the diddle kit to like be molested by, rich old men or women or whatever. But then I would scream and cry and everything, and they felt bad for me, which is rare because they don't feel bad for much. So then this old guy that was there, there's all kinds of Freemasons there, these Shriners and stuff that you see in the parades, riding around on their little scooters and stuff. They're all a bunch of scum. Like, you would think, oh, they wave to the children and stuff, they must be nice. No, they're not. No, they're all ugly and can't get a date and would have a hard time paying for a hooker. So they mess with children. It's really crazy. So anyway, I was crying and screaming, looked pathetic. And somebody said, well, kid, what else you gonna do? What else can we use you for? Do any singing or dancing? And so I started singing a song. And they said, wow, that song was great. Sing us another song. So I did. And then, little did I know, someone famous used the song and this other song. And then after a time, I became this amazing song kid that could make a song out of thin air, top 10. So then they just kept on bringing me back. And for a little while, they thought it was amazing. And after a time, just became an expected thing. It became like a magical organic jukebox that could kick and song come out,
Yeah, I think that aspect is really interesting. What are some songs people would recognize that came from you originally? 'Cause there's quite a few.
Oh my. This topic, as a footnote, people get angry when I mention this part. They think that I'm trying to brag. I'm not. It's actually shameful because I made a lot of money for evil people and the propagation of an alien infestation, parasiting, body snatching thing.
Right.
Crazy. And I had to mention this part because it's the mainstay of why I was there, why they kept bringing me back, and why I'm still alive. It's a long story. I'll try to put it in as much of a nutshell as I can.
Sure.
Let's see. The first one I made was Lady for Kenny Rogers. And I sang it there trying to show off for literally this, and I know it sounds absurd, I'm sorry, but for Queen Elizabeth. I sang it right to her at the Cloning Center.
Wow.
She's a depraved pervert. She's mentally insane in 5 different ways. She's got water on the brain from alcohol. I'm pretty sure she has syphilis. She's hinted at that. She was born literally, shall I say, special to be politically correct. I say retarded. When I'm at cloning and in general mentioning, I just say retarded. I guess people don't like that. But yeah, she is. She's really whack by many ways. And from being in proximity to scary aliens for most of her life. At cloning, right?
Right.
It traumatizes you, I guess. But everybody at cloning is afraid of her. And they all do what she says. I'll tell you how it is with her. Because she basically runs the place. She's not a victim. She's not a hostage. She runs the place. And everyone is even scared to say that they don't want to go there, because then she'll insinuate that she's insulted that they don't want to be her friend. The entire royal family is there. Charles is crazy too. He's been around talking to me at cloning ever since I was a kid. They made an exception with me. I was allowed to go there on adults' night. When there were no other kids there, I would go there. And she has nothing, right? She has no gimmick. You see, in the past, it was only politicians. It was a gathering place, a meeting place for politicians to come and discuss worldly affairs. And in the event of emergencies, they could, talk to each other and smooth things over. But then everybody started getting bored. So then they started bringing Marilyn Monroe and different film stars and stuff to make it more exciting. Well, that kept going. And then they tried to turn it into a little private club where everyone would go and do depraved things and be in this exclusive club of superheroes that can't die.
Right.
You can die as a clone and you'll live in real life. And they have a way to turn off your pain sensors so you can jump down the stairs, break all the bones in your body, and look up and laugh and die and just come back into the next clone body if they have like at least 2 of you made. Like they can make multiples and leave them to be activated one after the other, which is what they do with me a lot.
Yeah. But
Elizabeth has no gimmick. Now, when she's there, all she has, like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are there. Everybody you can think of that's the biggest people are there.
Damn.
And she wants to be seen and heard. She's desperate. She's what you call an attention, well, I won't say that word, but an attention promiscuous person. You can understand the word that I'm thinking.
Right, whore.
Yes, well, I don't know if you're allowed to semi-swear on the show.
Absolutely. Anything goes. Whatever you need to say.
Oh, fucking excellent. Well, she has nothing. You see, she'll stand up and she'll go, "Oh, I'm the Queen of England," right?
Right.
And wave her hand in her signature wave. And she'll go, "Oh, I'm very powerful. I'm very rich." And that's all she has. After that, she has to sit her fat ass down and not say anything because she's boring. She has nothing. No gimmick. Nothing. She has no talents. No skills. She's semi-retarded and she make herself sound stupid. She has nothing. You can't sing or dance. She's not interesting. That's all she has to say to all the celebrities. So, when she found me, she then had a little doggy that she could control and walk around on a leash in front of everyone. "Look what I have, this magical boy that can sing songs out of thin air," right? So she used me like that and kept me like that. And then, well, there's even more grodier aspects to her and my relationship in the past. I won't get into that though. Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple more questions about music, because I've heard you say that they use you and others in drug-induced rituals to come up with musical lyrics, and then there are not Nicki Minaj, but that other one. Oh, people like Kesha who came out and said, "Hey, I'm forced to use certain lyrics in my music. I don't want to." How does this work? And does it make the music more hypnotic? Is there an esoteric element to what's going on with the music?
I can explain. Okay. Nicki Minaj and Kesha both used songs that I was forced to make. Now, I have to go back to 1980. I was making these songs. after I made a certain amount of songs, a bunch of freaks there started thinking there were religious connotations to what I was doing. They thought, some of them even said that I was being whispered these songs, melodies, and lyrics into my head from God, even though only a percentage of them even believe in God there. Well, after a time, because I did it all through the 80s, like Bon Jovi, Wham, a bunch of them, but not all songs for them. Only like 2 or 3 on each album they would have. But the strange thing was, and I don't know why, maybe just because of practice, people only wanted to hear those 2 or 3 songs. They were the headliner songs. And I don't know why. So then after a time, I was a teenager, they started just using songs just from me. Like a good example is this band called the Georgia Satellites. They got a song from me called Keep Your Hands to Yourself, you know, and they were like a one-hit wonder because of that song. And that was the one song that I made for them. He even went on Much Music here in Canada. That's MTV in Canada. And he said, listen, there's a bunch of other songs on the album. Why don't you listen to those too? And the radio would only play that one song. It's because of the melody. Nobody wanted to hear any of the other songs because they didn't have a stick in your head melody. And I kind of know how to do that. After a time, I learned how to, do that. And it does go to a psychological level in a way. Music is hypnotic, right? In the past, after I was making these songs, I couldn't come up with ideas sometimes. So then Elizabeth and the rest of them would start to threaten me with being harmed, tortured, literally, like they can cut the skin off you there. And it feels just like real. And you'll wake up the next day all sick and everything, but it really is a good motivational tool to get what you want from someone.
How has the Vril lizards interfaced with our human elite throughout time? How did they get connected?
Well, it's all because of Hitler, supposedly, but from recent revelations that cloning seems it's even way further back than that. But Hitler looked into history and found out about some stuff. And it's public knowledge. He went to Tibet. Pretty much $1 billion expedition it would cost in these days money. Went to Tibet to find out. And then he found a couple of real type ones there with these monks. The monks protect them because they revere all life. Even these dirty, evil lizards that kill people, poisonous things. Well, Hitler took a couple of them because they said that they knew where this magical place was, Shangri-La or...
Right, inner Earth stuff.
Yeah, inner Earth stuff, but they knew where to point on a map where you had to go, and it's Antarctica. So Hitler sent an expedition to Antarctica, and they went down underground, and they found another type of Vril, and the Vril type ones. The type 3s are the tall, long-necked grays type of things. Well, and they found under there, they found an abandoned Atlantean base with a bunch of technology. Like it was like a hangar with a bunch of stuff, like a big place. And so they got all this stuff and started back engineering it. And it worked. They started figuring out saucers and everything.
Wow.
Like they didn't invent it though themselves. They just back engineered it. But Hitler is still at this place. I've spoken to him there.
Wow.
Joseph Stalin is still at this place. He has a lot of say there, Joseph Stalin.
So you say that Hitler was the first to make contact in maybe this round, but the royal families of Europe had to be in contact with these things beforehand, right?
They were, but the thing is, these things come up under Earth in many, many different places. Like worms from underneath the apple peel. They're not all in contact with each other. There's different regions. Some of them have different dialects and everything. It sounds like clicks and gurgles when they talk.
Makes sense. Like the people on the surface planet. We're not all in communication. There's still some tribes that are completely off the map, and we all speak different languages. So that makes sense.
Yep. And some of these Vrils, like the type 1s, they have scales. Some of them are red scales. Some of them have black scales. If they're under the Middle East, they're under England in some spots, under Scandinavia, and they would come up and communicate with humans there, but they didn't know about the other regional Vrills. Like, they knew that there was others around, but England knew about them. They used to call them fae folk, fairies, and leprechauns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Gnomes, dwarfs. Germans used to call them doppelgangers because of their mimicking ability, how they can mimic other human beings.
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot of stuff in myths that are true, like Vikings and stuff. You used to call them trolls.
I mean, it makes sense. There has to be an original source for some of that stuff. These public statements definitely have made me more open to this idea. I mean, there's the Nicki Minaj stuff, but I also wanted to point out exactly what B.O.B. said about it, because he wasn't shy. He dropped about 20 tweets on the subject saying things like, ever notice a celebrity missing their tattoos or piercings? Cloning center. Anytime you see a celebrity randomly lose their minds? Cloning center. He said, I swear I don't want attention or money or fame anymore. I just want to get the truth out. The truth that you've all been hidden from since birth. And probably my favorite, the deception is so deep, like literally deep, within the earth.
Well,
What are your thoughts? Have you talked to B.O.B.? Are you aware of his presence down there? Have you seen him down there?
I met him at cloning, but he remembers very little, but at least he remembers something. He's what you call memory repressed still. I don't know why they are allowing him to even talk. Mind you, my favorite tweet was Donald Marshall for president. But yeah, we talk on video chat all the time.
Wow. Now B.O.B. also tweeted a lot about the Earth being flat. Was he just getting too excited about conspiracies he read about, or is there something to that?
Oh my God. Well, I wasn't happy that he did that. See, I don't know if the Earth is flat or round, and I don't care, because I got to get the cloning center shut down, and all these creepy crawler body snatch things found out about. And whether the Earth is flat or round, we'll find out about that in the end anyway by default, right?
Right. I guess if you're being tortured at great lengths for the duration of your life, you really aren't worried about the composition of such a prison.
No. And the end result of, even if the Earth is flat, which I don't know about, and I don't care about, I didn't research it, I don't really care. If it is flat, that has really bad connotations for our existence, because then that means that we're all an alien ant farm, basically, and body farm, basically, you know? And I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I don't think the Earth is flat, because, I don't know, it could have been faked, but I've seen the space shuttle take off and take pictures from orbit. Although that could have been faked, sure. Big deception.
Right. NASA's apparently really front-loaded, heavy-loaded with Masons and this whole Illuminati establishment.
Oh, yeah. They wanted me to join the Freemasons.
Hmm.
They got a lodge in Halifax here. I ain't joining, though. I hate them people.
Right. So it makes everything NASA says pretty, makes you skeptical.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Freemasons at cloning, Scientologists, Mormons. There's a lot of different factions.
Well, let me ask you about Hillary. I've heard you make a few statements about her. Is she being basically prepped for the presidency, or do you think it might be someone else?
I'm not sure. There was another woman that said that she was going to be president of the United States. They're always big on first-time things. Like when Barack Obama became president, he's not even a real person. I named him, man. I named him. His name is not even Barack. I named him Barack, because of one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters called Baraka.
Yeah, I know him.
Oh, man. And he's not even a real person. He's supposedly a remade body from the past of this pharaoh, Akhenaten. He really is. And Akhenaten had some kind of an incestuous relationship with his mother. And his wife, Michelle Obama, she's supposedly not a real person either. She's a remade body from the past, with a different consciousness running it. But she's supposedly Obama's biological mother, for all intents and purposes. They were all big on, there's never been a black president before, Donnie. We're going to do this. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. What are you telling me for? I'm Canadian.
Mm-hmm. You've also talked about Mila Kunis quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I hate her pretty bad. She She got some of the biggest eyeballs I've ever seen on a human being. Only thing close enough to the size of her eyeballs is this other radio talk show host guy, George Noory.
Ah.
And he's at cloning too. And
Did you see George Noory down there?
I saw him twice.
Wow.
And they all came up to me. Like, I've seen David Wilcock. I've seen Fritz Springmeier. A lot of them.
See, that's important because this lets us know these are people that are not to be trusted in the alternative community.
Well, you should never trust anyone, really.
Right. But I mean, if you're seeing them down there, I mean, that's a big deal.
George Noory himself told me this. He said, you're going to take some things back. You're going to go along. And I'm like, no, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. And I'm like, actually, no, I'm not. And he's like, no, you'll see, you will. And I was like, I bet you I'm not. And he just shrugs his shoulders and walks away, right? Let's see. Oh, my God, Roxy Lopez. Let me tell you about old Roxy. Okay. Without going into too much detail, because I don't know, make me look a little bit bad for a second. Okay, I had an interview set up with her, and it turned real sour. Okay, this is the beautiful part, because I told people about what was going to happen before it happened on my wall. Well, not on my wall, in my inbox, talking to people. Okay, I'm supposed to be on an interview with her, just like this, right? And she has a, semi-big show, I guess. But the day before I was supposed to go on this show, or maybe 2 days, she shows up at cloning, and she's in the stands. And I'm down in the dirt of the arena. I walk up the stairs. I haven't told anybody about this, but except for my inbox, I walk up the stairs, and I'm like, wow, it really is you. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, so we're on for Tuesday, right? And she's like, yes, but you have to discredit yourself. And I was like, huh? She goes, well, you have to do something to make it sound as if you're not entirely there. And I was like, come again? And this old man is sitting next to her. I have no idea who he was. He goes, you do have to discredit yourself. And I was like, actually, no, I don't. I'll just tell you the rest. I grabbed her by the hair, pulled her out of her chair, and started smashing her head off of the concrete steps of the cloning center there.
Damn.
Started smashing her head off the steps. Nobody got up to stop me. I grabbed her and held her by the hair, and up she went, down she went, up she went, down she went. I bashed her face off the steps, just over and over and over again. Everybody just watched, and then I flung her down the stairs, and she went down in a heap, down to the bottom. It was funny, though, and I said, I'm not going to discredit myself. Anyway, then she comes out, another body, says, you're not going to be on my show. I was like, no, we're already set. We're scheduled, baby. No, what excuse are you going to use to cancel on me? And she goes, I'll think of something. She was all crying and stuff. It didn't even hurt when I did that to her because she had her pain sensor turned off to numb. It's something, they explained it. It's something like quadriplegic, you know? They can make it just like you're a quadriplegic, but you can still move. Mm-hmm. And you don't feel any pain. That's how they victimize people more efficiently, because people fight back, and even if they do win, tear the head off the other person. It doesn't matter. They'll just come back in the next body that they have, on a reserve body that they have there. Like some of them have 5 on standby.
Right. Definitely seems like an intense and violent place down there.
It is, and very pervy.
I'm sure. Can you tell us a little bit about the breakdown of the floors of these underground complexes? I've heard you talk about Coliseum-like battle arenas, bestiality, hybridization floors.
Yeah, I haven't gone to the other floors often. The cloning floor pretty much has like 2 levels to it. The arena, there's usually just one arena. That's in the cloning level. Underneath the cloning level is the growing rooms where all the tanks are. Britney Spears made a video, a cartoon video where she breaks into a cloning center and destroys it. It looks just like that. Cloning tubes, 2 by 2. And they're all growing bodies, different stages of development. And, yeah, she said it was always her fantasy to blow up a cloning center because she doesn't like going there because she gets assembly line banged there.
Yikes. Train.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah, exactly like that. And when her junk gets worn out, they just go to the next body. But she hates it. She didn't mind it at first when she was getting rich, but now that she's rich, she wants out. Just like Lauryn Hill, she was there. I was helping her make songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it goes like this with people, too. Once they have money and fame, they don't want to go there anymore and get, like, used by old men. So she made this song called I Get Out, I Get Out. Well, they let her get out because every time she was there, she cried uncontrollably, saying, I want to be free, I can't be in this, right? But she didn't get tortured or anything, she just got sexed up. And mind you, it is disgusting, but so she was a snotty mess. Crying, snot coming out of her face. Like, I can't be here, this place is evil. And mind you, she's evil herself. She didn't mind torturing a child to get songs.
Right. I also wanted to ask you about the catalog. I've heard you mention that before.
They told me that I could choose different kids to victimize there, and I was like, well, I don't want to. I'll bang Gwen Stefani. Which I did a few times, but it got old. It lost the novelty. Yeah, Madonna, a bunch of them. I banged a bunch of them, but they were willing. They were all willing, you know. But I don't know why, but they thought that this would appeal to me. And they're like, yeah, we have the catalog. And I'm like, the catalog? And they give me this binder. It's like the type of thing that you would see hockey cards in.
Right.
In little plastic sleeves, about 9 pictures to a page, or more, 12 pictures to a page, and they were all kids, boys and girls. Some of them were school pictures, some of them were pictures of the kids as clowns that they would take, but those pictures, none of the kids were smiling.
Wow.
None of them. They were all plain-faced, and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I was sitting in the stands this night because most of the nights I'm down in the dirt, you know, focus in the center. And they passed me this black binder. I open it up and I'm looking at it, flipping through it, and I'm like, so I'm supposed to pick one of them? And they go, pick a few. And they're all smiling at me as if I'll be very agreeable to this. But it just disgusted me. I threw it down the stairs, the same cement stairs that I bashed Roxy Lopez off. And I threw it down the stairs, and a couple people went down and grabbed it when it went down to the bottom to the hockey boards, as if it was like the Bible or something, right? As if it was like so important. Oh, he threw the catalog, right? And I'm like, I ain't doing that. You guys are sick. Wait till the future, man. I assume you guys are going to kill me, but I'm still going to do what I can. You guys are all doomed. Wait until it happens. I can't wait to see it. And then they're like, that'll be the end of the world, Don. And I'm like, well, so be it. You know, we can't have this going on.
I guess one other thing we should note, I think is a pretty good point, is that if this was all slander and libel, with the names that you've named, you'd think somebody might come after you for this if it was all made up.
You would think that, wouldn't you? You would think that.
But it's radio silence, right?
They ain't doing nothing because they ain't allowed. And in the future, when I do have political authority, just for even calling me a dick, I'll have them put in prison. They're all scared, man. Like, they can't speak against me. In the future, the entire populace will hate them for the rest of their fucking days. Oops, I said F word. Sorry about that.
That's cool.
The populace would hate them for the remainder of their life if they ever said anything bad about me. Because in time, you know, everybody gonna love Donnie. And rightfully so. So, you know, they don't dare. No celebrity, no nothing. And a lot of people that actually think that I'm a liar and stuff, well, nobody really does anymore, but back in the day they did. They would send everything I said to these people, personally, the celebrities and stuff, and then the celebrities would erase those comments and block the people that sent them. Even though those people were against me and for those celebrities, they would ignore them totally, ignore them like the plague. People have even sent everything I said to the police. The police don't do anything either. It gets put on the back burner because the high-ups in the police know who the hell I am and know what's going on. It's that, obvious.
In the past few years, you have had several big-name artists coming out about this, which boggles my mind even further. I mean, sure, Tila Tequila is saying some stuff, but then you have Nicki Minaj and most recently B.O.B. both tweeting from their own accounts, #StopHumanCloning. I mean, do you feel a little bit vindicated by some of this?
A little bit, but it really didn't do very much, did it?
Right, I mean, it raised a little bit of awareness, but...
It raised a couple eyebrows, and then people are like, oh, that's very interesting. Oh, well. I don't know. Where's the revolution, man?